So we looked at shot sequences where we brought in all our conforms in one go and created a connection between all the segments. We're going to look at now sources connection, which takes a slightly different approach. We can start working on one conform and then we can start adding recuts and conforms to it after the event without having to create a shot sequence. We're going to do that via sources connections. So to start off with, we're going to do exactly the same as we had before. We're going to go and get our 60-second master in. Now, we're not going to create a sources sequence for this, but we are going to do a couple of things in here. We're going to save all the sources to a new sources reel on the desktop. And we're going to set a search location for this, which of course is going to be my DPX sources again. I'm going to set that. It's going to scan through, look at all the media, and then we're going to match it up according to the match criteria that we need to accomplish this. So let's go and choose this and this. Like we had before, we're going to link those sources down. And then we're just going to go and match up our audio and do this. So what we've got now is all of our sources are matched in to the 60-second version. We go to the timeline. And as you can see, we've got our 60-second version here, plus all of the sources for that sequence that have been saved out separately because we had save sources selected on our conform. So to make our sources connection workflow work, what we're going to do is we're going to go through, before we start working on this, we're going to select all of our layers that we want to have a source connection. We're going to right click on this and we are going to create a source segment connection. And this is going to create that relationship between the segments that are in our 60-second version and our sources reel down here. And you can see that all the clips have been highlighted with that chain link. So just to keep it consistent to what we had before, we're going to go through and just put that same sort of effect on this particular shot. Remember, it's our two-layer composite. And we're going to select this and we're going to put an action on as we did before. Just come into here, add a quick ellipse G-mask just to cut through to the layer below. I'm just going to quickly invert that. And just to make it slightly different, we'll also add something like a color warper as well. We're going to come in here and we're just going to make it just slightly more warmer like that. So now we've got a noticeable effect on this particular shot. Now at this stage, what's nice is that we can come in and add a recut, or in this particular case a different version, and push all the effects that we've done on this version to that. Now the method is slightly different from the connected shot sequence which we looked at. What we need to do is go back to the conform module. We're going to go and find our 45-second version, which is here. This is a different one we want to work with, and we're going to turn off save sources, but as you're going to point the conform module to look at the sources reel that was created when we did our original conform here. So once again, based on our match criteria on this, we're going to get some matches. We're going to go and link those sources through. We've got a couple other ones here that's going to be linked, and then we're going to just go through and link up our audio, and now we have everything kind of working. Now going back to our timeline, you can see that we've got our 60-second, now we've got our 45-second. But because we've pointed the 45-second at the linked sources, they will share this sources connection. So what's good is that if we go to our 60-second version now, and that shot that we kind of worked on, we can see that this is used in the 60 and the 45 that we just brought in. But we can also now sync the connected segments to the 45-second version as well. Once again, like the shot sequence, this is going to respect all the timing offsets and everything that we created, but we're working purely now on a sources mechanism where we can add edits in, as opposed to the shot sequence where we would have all the edits to start with. So this is really nice. It's two different ways of working depending on how your conforms are supplied to you, but it gives you the flexibility to be quite reactive either way depending on how the work is appearing into frame. So that's shot sequences and sources connection. The one last thing that's quite nice is that we can create our own manual connected segments and paste them across timelines without even having to do any of this at all. In this particular case, we've got our edits, and towards the end there is like a consistent pack shot. So maybe this has some text or something over it, which we would like to propagate over all of our versions. Now we don't have to create a shot sequence or a sources connection in this particular case. Actually what we can do is we can create our own manually connected segment and paste that to other timelines. So if we come in here, we're going to create a BFX on this particular one, and we're going to put some text on it. This could obviously be some animation or actually be quite a nice graphic. We're just going to put a text module in and put some text on this. So if we make it sort of fairly large, and we just call this pack shot. There you go, that's nice and obvious. Now we come out of here. This is on our BFX. We exit the BFX, and of course this is now on my 60-second version. Now if we right click on this particular segment, we can then create a segment connection, which will put that chain link in. And that means that when we copy and paste this to any other sequence, it will retain this connection to the original timeline it was created on. So let's go to our 45, and we're going to scoot down to the end where the pack shot is, and we're going to set our positioner to be in here, and we're going to go through and we're going to go and paste that connected segment. So if we kind of scrub back on this, you can see that that has got that pack shot text on as well. What this means now, if we go back to either one of these and we make a modification, so we're going to come into this, we're going to go to our BFX, I'm going to go to text editor, and we're going to come in here, add a space, and we're going to say good, and return out of this, and then back to the timeline. And when you right click on this, we can sync the connected segments. And if we look at our desktop and our 45-second now, look at this, that change is now rippled through to the 45-second as well. So even if you don't want to create a source connection or a shot sequence connection, you can actually create your own manually synced segments for purposes just like this.